We'll move to the next session, whereby we have Sarah Alamin, who will be talking about peering best practices. So Sarah, over to you.
Thank you, Bashir. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon or good morning still. So today I'm going to, one second. I'm just starting to share the screen. Can you see my screen now? Or?
Yes, you can see your screen.
Perfect. Okay, so today I'm going to give a very light presentation, which I normally call tech capsule. It will be not a very technical, but just highlights about what best practices for peering, what you can do. And this presentation, especially for ISPs and IXP operators, and what they can do, especially if they are connecting or peering in Exchange Point. Okay, I'm Sarah. I work at Packet Clearing House as an outreach coordinator. So normally my work is basically with IXP's operator. And what I'm going to share with you here is some stats about the African Exchange Point. And we are going also to see some concepts, quality and quantity, and some performance test or some performance experience. And we will discuss the results from this experience. Okay, so for you, maybe you know that PCH Packet Clearing House is one of the research initiatives that they are doing. They are building IXP directory for all the exchange points around the world. Either this exchange point is up and running, active, not active, or even planning. So you can go to the link and see. But today I just highlighted for the African exchange point. So you can see here from the map that we have quite good number for the exchange point in the African continent. Some of them, they have one exchange point, and that's where you can see it with a small yellow dot. And some of them, they have more than exchange point inside the country, and that's you can see it with the big yellow dot. Also, you can see a gray space area, and this is the country where we do not have an exchange point yet. So maybe we can work with these countries if there is a presenters here or some people or hosts from here to see how we can help either as PCH or Afrinic, and I know there's a lot of organizations that are really developing, and they are doing a really good program to develop exchange points in the country. So please reach out to us. As you can see from the map, now the numbers, we have active exchange point. We have 56 exchange points active and up and running in Africa. New exchange points from 2019 until 2022, there are 5 exchange points. So that's really quite good number, honestly. More details about the growth in numbers for these exchange points. And this is stats. I got it from Amrish, our friend. He works at ISOC. They are also doing some stats or some experience with measurement about the IXPs around the world. So thank you, Amrish, for providing this measurement. I just picked the top 3 criteria for this study is the traffic loss and member and peering density in each exchange point. When we say traffic size, that means the amount of the traffic has been exchanged inside the exchange point. And for that, we rely on the data set from PCH and from the statistic that each exchange point they are publishing in their websites. Members, how many members appear in the exchange point, how many networks are there, and also we rely on the data also published in the exchange point page itself and PCH, and also from PeeringDB, because some of them they are also updating PeeringDB. The traffic size and members, honestly, this is one of the really good information. If you are exchange point or if you are a network or peer on these things, it's really good to have them published somewhere. Because if you would like, sorry, if you would like, sorry, if you would like a network to come and join your exchange point, or even if you want to go and peer with the exchange points, you would really need to see this information. Who is there? What's the traffic there? If I'm going to send equipment, depend on the traffic there, I would like to decide if I'm going to send a small or medium or big size. So it's really good to have this information published and updated. Peering density, this is considered this is like is measuring how many bilateral sessions we are doing inside the exchange points, and compare with how many peering sessions happening if they have only a route server. So so in other words, if the networks inside the exchange point prefer to connect only or peer only with the route server, or they prefer to do bilateral session between each other. So this is the ratio between these two criteria. Also for this, we rely on the looking glass, either the looking glass that PCH provide for each exchange point, or if the exchange point that are having their looking glass by themselves. So we compare the results from this team. So what we have found is the number of the members. You can see I did not put all the exchange points. Of course, if you want, you can contact me and we can send you the statistic. The number of the members, we can see, we just pick the one that we find some interesting graph on them. For example, for Burkina Faso, we can see the numbers of the networks where there are quite stable, like 12, and then they decided just to jump down and then they connect again. So that's interesting. Maybe they disconnected and then come back again, or maybe they decided not to leave the exchange point and then new members joined. Also for Angola, you can find there is a fluctuation in the numbers, not stable. So we don't know exactly what's happening there, honestly. Malawi also, Malawi is quite good. Like you can see that the numbers is quite stable at 8, and then new members join the exchange point. One thing that we did not do yet, because this is considered like a recent statistic, we just did that last October when we were preparing for AFPEF meeting. We did not reach out to each these countries or each exchange point to see exactly what's happening inside, but we just share the stats with them. So maybe we need to follow up and see. Also, the other thing is the peering density. You can see that's the red color or red graph inside each exchange points. It seemed like not a lot of exchange points that are doing bilateral session between each other, or even they do not peer with all the members inside the exchange point. Because of that, the peering density graph is very low. Either if there is a route server, they prefer all of them to just connect to the route server and that's all. Or not all the members, as I said, connecting with each other. Maybe they just pick, maybe they have selective peering policy. Okay, don't know also. For the number of the connected network, that's a number that's 24 that has been announced in each network. Sorry, in each RXP. You can see that Ugandan exchange point and Angola, and Sudan exchange point, they're already having quite big numbers compared with the others. So also, I don't know what's happening in these small exchange points, why maybe they don't announce all the prefix they have. Maybe the big network, they do not announce all their network inside the exchange point. Either they just prefer to announce specific network. Also, honestly, maybe next time I can get an update about what's happening inside each exchange point. So okay, now as we can see the numbers, we can see some numbers in some exchange points that are really quite good and big. Some numbers are really small, and we here exactly we would like to see that, are we really care about the quantity or the quality of the service? Are we really care about how many exchange points we have in the country? We need to have like just build a new exchange point and ask everyone to come and connect, or we really care about the quality? If we have only one exchange point inside the country and it's running quite good, that's enough for us. So for this, we did also a small experiment with my friend from PCH also. We did a small experience to measure the performance, and here we rely on using RIPE Atlas props. I do believe all of us, the Atlas prop. It's a small device that you can connect in your network, and it will give you some measurement about your network. Also, you can use it to create a measurement for something you would like to do. So it's quite good, interesting, and quite good to have inside your network. So we use the RIPE Atlas prop, and we used to do some experiment to use this Atlas prop to trace route to valid destination, or to use what we say was a valid destination. We wanted to see a reference where we can measure the traffic to this reference and see how the traffic is going. So our reference, we wanted to pick something we know it's up and running, and we know that is located on that exchange point. And at the same time, we wanted to make sure that for these networks that are reaching this service or this reference, they already exist in the exchange point. So for us, what's easy, using the Anycast DNS service that PCH is providing, anyns.pch.net or Quad9, because we know where they are. We know it's up and running, we know it's operation, and we know which network they are peering with us inside this network. So either they are using the service that we are providing locally, or they decided to use a different path. So that's what basically the experience have done. Small countries we picked. We did a big and then a lot of countries, but we just here picked 2 random countries. I picked Rwanda and Kenya, not for any reason, just to show you the results. So as you can see here in Rwanda, I did not find a lot of props online. These 3 AS numbers, they have props inside their network. And you can see that from this AS number, they are reaching Quad9 and PCH service using the exchange point itself. So that's really good. That's what we would like to see in every exchange point we are working with. More details about how the trace route you will see. It will come from the AS number itself, go to the exchange point, and that's step number 4, using the exchange point prefix, and then they will reach the service. So all the traffic will be inside the country. It wouldn't go out. It will use the exchange point services, and that's really good. And even you can see the TTL here, it's quite high, 9 milliseconds. It's supposed to be less than that, but at least it's not going overseas. It's still locally. For other example, for example, Kenya, you can find here for Kenya, this top 2 AS number, they are green, which is good. They are using the service that's provide inside the country, and they're using the RXP infrastructure to use the service. So that's really good. But the other 2, they are not doing that. So I'm going to give you a highlight for the last 3 AS number to see the difference between them. So let's start with AS36914. That's a good one. That's a good one because they are using the service provided inside the exchange point itself. As you can see, and step number 3, that's IP address for the exchange point itself, and they are reaching the service locally. And also you can see from the time, it's only 1 millisecond. For DNS query, that's really good. Or even it can be less than that, but it's still really good comparing with other numbers we are going to see. If we see the other or the second AS number is 12556, that AS number is located inside Kenya, but they decided to use the service not from Kenya exchange point. They decided to use it from Uganda exchange point. That's quite interesting. Why you're doing that? If you have the service already inside your country, why you prefer to send it overseas? And also like spending time, like 9 milliseconds, some people can consider it as low, but it's still for DNS query, that's really high. And you don't need to do that. It's already your country, right? Locally. And the other one, the AS9129, that's really interesting. This one decided not to even use the, even not the closest exchange point in the area. They decided to go to Johannesburg exchange point. So you can see that the traffic is go overseas and they are using the service, same service, but they use it from Jinx, which is Johannesburg exchange point. And you can see the TTL is really, really high. So that's not a good example to do, honestly. So when we reach out to these networks, and not only these networks, lots of networks, we would try to reach out with them. And that was some kind of, why is this happening? What's the reason for that? They don't know, maybe the service is there in there locally, or maybe they have some issues. So honestly, we came out with 3 categories for the reasons. That's why that's happening. The first one, they don't pay at the exchange point. They don't know the service is there. So for example, that's one of the AS 15706 that's based in Sudan. They don't pair in the exchange point. They don't know that these servers are already provided locally. So for them to use Quad9 or to use any PCH services, they used to go to, of course, the transit, and they use it from Frankfurt. And you can see the TTL is really, really high. These people, they are really hurting their customers, and they are really hurting their network, because that's quite, honestly, quite very high number to do. So the second reason is misconfiguration. For example, AS36868, this AS number is connected to the exchange point, and they know that the service is provided inside the exchange point, but because they do some kind of misconfiguration in the PGP connection between the exchange point and the network, they turn out to go to Johannesburg. This AS number is based in Mauritius, and they are using the service from Johannesburg. So that's also one of the things we work with them, and hopefully it has been fixed now, because it's also, it's quite, honestly, it's quite not good to do that. 45 millisecond for something you can have it already inside your country, as we mentioned. That's a big number. The third reason was that is the wrong filter. Sometimes these people, they set the wrong filter for what they are accepting and what they are receiving for the exchange point. Back to our AS number, our friend 15706. For example, this one is telling you, like, I already paired an exchange point, but I still cannot see your prefix, or I cannot receive this route. So this will be some kind of, also, as I said, filters for what you are receiving and what you are announcing to the exchange point. So please, that's a very important one. Most of them, they are rely on this category, number 3, filters. Make sure that you are setting the right filter, so you will be able to benefit from the service you have already locally. So yeah, that's the 3 categories. So please, if you are running a network, or if you are running an IXP, or you are planning to do IXP in your country, please make sure that peering local preference, they always supposed to be higher than transit. If you don't have the service inside your country, then you're used to your transit. But if you have it inside, you are hurting your customer. You will hurt your customer, and you will hurt your network by going overseas for having something you can have only 1 millisecond or less to get it. Advertising more prefix to your transit will hurt you always. As we know, this is one of the BGP rules, like most specific is going always to win. So make sure that when you announce some network, make sure that you announce it for your local preference, or for your local link with the exchange point, and then with a different preference set for your transit. Also try to use modern tools to automate your building your filters, especially for AS sets. And if you don't know what is AS set, this is a really good platform to use, because most of the African people are here, so they can help you to build your AS set, and also they can help you to see how you can use it. But normally this will help you to build filter, so you don't need to build your filter manually. There's already automated tool will help you, and it will keep you updated. So you don't need, like, every time you go and manually do that, because manually things sometimes you may misconfigure something, or you do it with the wrong way. So make sure that your customers, or you are using automated tool, and also share it with your customers, so they will have that tool too. Okay, so how we can fix this? If I don't know all these things, how can I start, or I want to do these things? There is already a lot of material already inside AFNOG websites, because they used to do the SIE and ARE classes, which are already discussing all these details. So you can find these materials already online. And even if you can reach out, I do believe Afrinic also, they do have some kind of training for that. So you can reach out and get these slides and read about them. Make sure that your people or your engineer is equipped with the right tools. As I said, there is already a nice and automated tool that can do lots of work for you. You just need to set them with the right way, or customize or configure them with the right way. So it will help you to do all this work rather than do it manually. And yeah, and then we can find misconfiguration things. Tutorials, please, if you are IXP operator or you are network and you already know these things, So please make sure that use your IXP community or your local NOC or your community and do some kind of tutorial and share this knowledge with them. Because if you fix it for others, it will also help you and it will also fix problem for you. So please make sure that you share this, what you are doing with other community. And as I said, if it will be win-win situation for you and for them. And always remember, not all the things that a large not the large African network is doing is the right thing. As we can see already, we saw example for one customer it's a large customer or large network, but they're doing really not a good things at sending the traffic overseas for something they can do. So please just don't follow whatever they are doing, because sometimes it's not the right thing, or maybe sometimes it's not the right things for you. Maybe it's good for them, for their network, but not for you. And of course, we do have the mailing list, a lot of mailing lists, Afrinic mailing list and AFEX mailing list. That's especially for the African exchange point. So you can always write there and say what you have, and that you definitely find some people who can help you on that. That's all for me. Thank you for listening. And if you have any question, please share it with me.
Thank you, Sarah. And I think it couldn't have been much clearer on why we need to utilize the services at the exchange point. And I'm also happy that you follow up with the operators who don't do the right thing. And I hope they make some changes, right? Because I see you still had your examples in your screenshot, right? Because they're examples, it means that probably they're still doing the bad thing. But yeah, I'm happy that you don't just do you don't just do measurements. Yeah. You don't just point to the problem, but you at least try to actively, help out by providing solutions. So let me see. I see Sylvain has been sharing some interesting links here, and I see from Teboho, it's a very interesting presentation, which is not too technical. Yeah, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
And I think I have a raised hand from Sylvain.
Okay.
Let me allow him to speak. Sylvain, over to you.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay. Thank you, Sahar, for your presentation and for your great work. We are following you, so we are really glad to have your presentation. So my question is about it's about the table, or when I filters your internet exchange point directory, I see that I shared a link inside the chat. So when I got your, I filter about the Quad 9, the Quad 9 instance present within internet exchange point inside Africa. I see that some of them, like the instance inside one of the two internet exchange points in Cameroon, is not present, but you have announced that you have a Quad 9 instance at that internet exchange point. What is the problem? Thanks.
Sorry, if I got your question correctly, that when you see the exchange point in Cameroon and our NPCH IXP directory, you don't find Quad 9 is listed there, or is that a question? If I got it well.
Sylvain, you can unmute yourself, please.
Okay. I'm not sure if Sylvia you can hear us, or if I did not understand your question well, maybe you can write it in a chat. But for IXP directory, For the IXP directory, we list all the exchange point, even if they are not, if you didn't see it like active, maybe it's planned or it's it was up and running and then it's not up and running anymore, or maybe it's still an idea happen, as I said, or it so this is just the highlight for the IXP directory. For the service that we are providing, I prefer for you to go to the looking glass, not for the IXP, because the IXP doesn't give you like a highlight for what's exactly happening inside. So for the looking glass, and I'm going to share the link, that will tell you which service is enabled inside your exchange point. And you can see that and you can write that quad 9 and then dig or trace route. If you got a result, that means quad 9 is already enabled in that exchange point. If you did not get a result, that means it's not there. But yeah, that's if I understand your question well, that's my answer. But I can see that you are writing on the chat.
Okay, Sarah, thank you. My mic is open now.
Okay.
So it was about Camix. Camix is, you have announced that Camix is, your instance in Camix is up. So
okay.
I wanted to see that reflected within your directory, your Internet Exchange Point directory. Okay. So my next question is this one. How can someone update or how are you updating your Internet Exchange Point directory? Because we have a new Internet Exchange Point in Cameroon. It's called $X. How can we add it within your platform? Thank you.
Perfect. So for you to do that, you can reach out to me. My email address is, I'm going also to write it in chat, and we will add that exchange point and the IXP directory. And then if you have any details or any information you want to put, you can register, create an account on the IXP directory page itself, and then you can update the data by yourself. Okay.
Can I do it myself?
Adding the exchange point, we need to do that. Someone from PCH add the exchange point and the details for you, then you can add that. So
okay, thank you. It's worked for me.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I see another question here. SIE and ARA. So these are the the AFNOG workshop tracks. I think you mentioned it on one of your slides.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's the scalable network infrastructure,
yes,
if I remember. Yeah, in English, and then advanced routing
in English. Yeah, that's true. So these are workshops that used to be done during Africa Summit, Internet Africa Summit, and AFNOG especially. They are teaching in technical details all about the routing and all the BGP, and if you are trying to do peering with exchange points, what's the things you can do, what's the things you shouldn't do. So all these things have been taught on this. SIE is like level 1 and ARA is advanced 1. And E2, that's an old name for them before that become AFNOG and they rename it there. All these materials is up already online. So if you go to the link for AFNOG workshop, you can find them and you can download them and read. You will find all the technical information you need there, indeed.
Okay, thanks. So once again, I'd like to ask you to provide us feedback, right? There's a link that was shared by Bhavna. So give us feedback about this presentation. As usual, we use the feedback to improve future sessions. So please fill in the feedback form in the chat section.
Okay, thank you.
So I also have another quick poll, right? As you do that, anyone here who's attended the AFNOG training before? So if you